Hello, community. What's up, community? Hello. Thanks for coming in this new MA here again. We am with other big project. Firo's team here. How are you, Reuben?
Oh, nice to meet you, Jean Pierre. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. And thanks for
Yes.
agreeing to do this, Ama. Yeah.
Yes, Jean-Pierre. Yes, that's right. All right. Great. Before we start, guys, it's important to say do your own research. This is not investment advice, right? How was your week being your mom, Ruben? I saw you over there on Twitter in karate classes. That's nice.
No, I'm actually I teach Aikido. Of course I do
Okay.
boxing and MMA, but yeah, I run an Aikido dojo on the side as well.
That's really cool, Ruben. All right. First, Ruben, it's important to know who are you, Ruben. Is why this is my first question is uh, tell us a little about yourself, your background, and your role in Firo, please.
Sure. So my name is Reuben. I actually come from Malaysia. And I actually come from a legal background. So I was a lawyer for about 10 years. And I really drive kind of like really got into cryptocurrency in the beginning of 2013, when because I was actually running a VPN service and all these people were like shutting me off from my financial services just because they say, oh, VPNs are bad, you must be doing something illegal. And obviously now, I mean, like, even comes with your browser, your antivirus. It's also like normal now, but back then it was just like ridiculous, right? I'm not doing anything illegal. So that kind of made me dive down the crypto rabbit hole. And since then, I guess Firo started in 2016. I actually, although I'm listed as a co-founder, I actually joined like 1 month later after its mainnet launch, and just like steadily assumed the role that I do today. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Very good experience, Ruben. I understand that Firo is a project with privacy narratives, right?
Yes.
Before I go into detail, what is Firo? My second question is, why is privacy so important to Firo? Why?
Well, it's not just important to Firo. I mean, it's actually something that has kind of taken the back seat to everything else, which is really unfortunate because, I mean, when cryptocurrency was meant to be this, alternative financial system or payment system or digital cash, right? That was meant to be above control from anyone, right? So no one person can control it. But when you don't have privacy, well, first of all, it's much easier to control because you can track the funds. When I pay someone, I'm potentially revealing how much I have, right? When I pay people on chain, I'm reviewing to the world how much I pay my employees, my suppliers, and all of that. And we have seen, you can blacklist certain funds, like, oh, these funds are tainted and all of that, right? And while people would say this is to fight crime, like, this can be rather arbitrary, right? Who are the people who say what is frozen and what is not, right? So I actually really believe in money being a public utility, like the internet. It can be used both for good or bad, but there shouldn't be someone to like police, oh, this is right, this is wrong, right? Because that is really kind of arbitrary. Governments go and change, some are good, some are bad. So I think there is a balance to be held between maintaining individual user privacy, and I think it's one of the kind of, I would say, like, the key pillars of what cryptocurrency is supposed to be about. I mean, even Satoshi said that there should be some
Hmm.
privacy in cryptocurrency as well. It's just that the tech wasn't there to enable it then. Yeah.
Yes, yes, I am with you. Personally, I would like to have my phone totally private as a is on the website, privacy is not about hiding, it's about retaining the ability to consent our data. I really like the phrases in your website. I love it, the phrases. So, following that same line in the crypto world, where the blockchain is public and everything can be tracked, so how does Firo's technology guarantee us privacy? How does this technology work?
Right. So, I mean, a lot of people, when I tell people I'm doing like a privacy chain and stuff like that, they will be like, wait, isn't blockchain meant to be, transparent, right? Isn't that its feature? And I think
Yes.
while that is true, it is not because we want it to be transparent. The main reason why we need it to be transparent is because there's no central entity. So you want to make sure that everyone can see, all right, Jean-Pierre actually has 1 Bitcoin, right? That means everyone
Yes.
can verify that you have the money that you say it is, and that when you transfer to someone else, everyone knows that, okay, Jean-Pierre has sent to Reuben 1 Bitcoin. That's the main purpose of transparency. You don't actually want to show that Jean-Pierre sent it. It's just that everyone needs to verify the state. Firo's technology is pretty nice in the sense that we enable you to verify that a valid transaction has happened. That means, like, I know this person has the money. I know no coins are being created of thin air. I know the coins aren't being double spent, but I don't get any details from it. That means I don't know the receiver, I don't know the sender, I don't even know the amount. And he achieves this using, a unique type of zero knowledge proofs that we Firo developed. So it's like different from what Zcash uses, Monero uses, or what a lot of other privacy coins use. And this technology basically allows you to post transactions that hide all these important things, with while the rest of the chain can still verify that a valid transaction has happened. And this technology, we call it, is a Lelantus Spark, which we've been developing. Well, it's now on mainnet, but it's something that we have been working on for a long, long time. So really proud to see this come to mainnet. Yeah.
Oh, bro, that's awesome. That I really like that, sir. Um, by the way, thanks for all people over here with us. 1,000 views, Reuben, right now. Thank you so much,
Nice.
Binance community. Thank you for to be here. We are here with Firo projects. So yes, hi, hello, Hisham, hello, hello, Willie, welcome. Nice. Go ahead. Let's go. All right. I have seen other Web3 projects with this uh, narrative about privacy. That's why the first question is, why should we choose Fire technology over its competitors? That's a really great question.
No, that's a great question. Obviously, we use something called Lelantus Spark. Now, obviously, there are many other. I would say, okay, not many. I would say a handful of other privacy protocols out there. I guess the most famous would be Ring CT, which is a Ring Signatures Confidential Transactions, which is used in Monero, Xano, and many other coins that kind of use that kind of technology, right? Then there is ZK Snarks, using like what we call Graph 16 settling proofs, which is what I guess, an earlier version of Zcash use, and Pirate Chain and many other like Tornado Cash and all of this also use this kind of like Graph 16 ZK Snarks type of thing. Obviously, there's Halo 2 and all of that, but let me just quickly talk about it in a very
Yes.
simplistic terms so people can understand. So in with Ring CT, you are kind of like your plausible deniability per transaction. That means it's like when I am making a transaction, I am basically grabbing 15 other decoys, right? So your real transaction is still somewhere within there, but then I'm kind of hiding myself like, I could be one of the 16 let's just say people. Obviously, it's not people on the blockchain, but it's just kind of like, all right, I guess a classic example is that, I want to fart in the lift. I have like a tummy ache. I really need to let out some wind. And if I'm the only person in the lift, if I'm the only person farting in the lift, when the person comes to the lift and like, Reuben, you're the one who farted, right? But in
Yes.
ring signatures, I'm dragging 15 other poor innocent people into the lift with me, and then I let out a fart. And then, when
Yes.
someone comes in, they're like, who among these 16 people let out the fart, right? But obviously, this has its limitations. 16 isn't a very big number. And if I keep on dragging, 15 people, but after a while, people are like, hey, hang on, the common denominator here is that Ruben's in this lift, right? So that kind of privacy isn't really good. And you can even like right now, there's actually an ongoing attack on Monero where it's like called Flood XMR or Black Marble attack, where someone keeps on spamming lots and lots of transactions so that
Yeah.
their transactions become the people in the lift, right? So that means all right, you put in all your people. Obviously, the one person that isn't the person that you placed in, right? So it has a lot of limitations, and Monero is aware of this stuff, right? Which is why they're like, looking at stuff like Seraphis and full chain membership proofs, which is also like, based off our work, at least Seraphis is. But yeah, so that's one of the like, very small anonymity sets compared to Firo, which is like 32,000, 64,000. Obviously, it's a much, much larger amount, and you're not dragging people into the lift with you. With ZK Snarks, which is like very, very widely used, and most people are like, oh, ZK Snarks, this amazing thing. The problem is that there's this thing called a trusted setup, which means that you kind of have to get a bunch of people, generate some initial like secret ingredients and sauce, and then people have to destroy it, right? As long as one of them destroys it, right, then you cannot reconstruct this what they call it toxic waste. And whoever actually somehow this trusted setup, if you actually retain these ingredients, you can actually fool the system to actually generate coins out of thin air, right? So obviously it sounds like, perfect, all these people participating, and if only one person destroys it, you cannot reconstruct the whole thing. But I mean, without going into details, there have been weaknesses in this type of ceremony, which was an active attack, and it's just not a good to have to trust something, right? I mean, the whole purpose of blockchain is, don't trust, verify. But here you have something called a trusted setup, so that's not very ideal. So I would say that Firo offers pretty high privacy. It doesn't have any sort of exotic trust requirements. And it's also done in a way which is actually very modular. That means, this is like the dressing system, this is the ZK proof for that. And when better tech comes about, we can actually take certain components out and replace it with new tech. So that's also really good, both in terms of future proofing, and also it makes security analysis a lot easier because you can analyze the components individually. So I wouldn't say like, one technology is the best of
Yes.
everything, but Firo's technology is pretty up there. I would say, among the best. If yeah, some people would say the best. I would say it's among the best because it's hard. Well, it depends what your threat model is, right? And yeah, it's an independent development, right, which has been praised by many people. And look, Monero also took a lot of pointers from us for their next gen privacy protocol, which they are probably a few years out. So our tech is here today. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. It's interesting that the concept, proven and technology of Firo is different, and that makes it unique. Congratulations, buddy, for that. It's awesome that technology. Thank you so much, guys, for to be here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your like. Thanks. All right, all right. Reuben, can you tell us about monitoring tag? What is that? Why is curious?
Sure. I mean, like, we are a listed project on Binance, and Binance introduced this concept of monitoring tax that they place on projects with higher risk, right? And obviously, generally, it's not a good thing to have a monitoring tag, right? It could be for a variety of reasons. It could be because this project has stopped development or because there's something a bit fishy about it. But in our case, it was because of new regulatory concerns, right? Because Europe plus MICA, US, Department of Justice say, oh, you need to do certain things to kind of, govern privacy coins, right? So you see that initially, the monitoring tags were placed on almost all privacy coins on Binance, like Zcash, Monero, Mobile Coin, and Firo, right? And also Horizon as well. And that is only because, well, there's this new regulatory requirement, and they say, like, look, how are you going to comply with this regulatory requirement, right? And
Right.
certain coins like Horizon, they were like, no, we are banning privacy. That's not our thing. We are totally removing privacy, right? So yeah, they still have the monitoring tag, but then it'll be eventually removed, right? Other coins like Monero and Mobile Coin, they weren't able to meet the new regulatory requirements, and therefore now they're both delisted, right? For coins like Firo and Zcash, we were the ones that actually came up with something called exchange addresses, which allows the exchange to have like forces people to use transparent transactions when transacting with an exchange. I mean, after all, when you're doing an exchange, you don't really have a very high expectation of privacy because the exchange knows who you are, how much you're depositing and all of that. But they wanted, because of these regulations, they want to be able to say, all right, when you're depositing, they can see the address that it comes from. So we were the first ones to come up with these exchange addresses. We have a blog post on it. I wouldn't go into detail. I actually have like a 1 hour video on how we dealt with this, but we were the first ones to actually come up with this proposal, which then Zcash adopted, PIVX adopted, and all the other coins that want to remain on Binance adopted. And it doesn't, let me kind of clarify, it does not sacrifice additional privacy than what the current situation is. So that's really important because we are a privacy project. We really want to, prevent like, oh yeah, government can look at everything. Well, what's the point of a privacy project, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, we want to still exist on important exchanges like Binance and all of that because right now, decentralized cross-chain decentralized exchanges aren't that popular yet, and they have a lot of like issues on its own. Centralized exchanges are a great way for like regular Joes like you and me, or when you want to convert from your national currency into it. So I think there is still a strong role to play there. So right now we are balancing compliance and user privacy, right? We are not saying remove all privacy or give the government or exchange a backdoor, right? We are just saying that, all right, when you're dealing with exchange, you have to review the amount that you are putting inside the exchange, which is also good because then you can see how much Firo is being held by Binance, right? Which is kind of good, those proof of reserve types of things. So yeah, so we've been in very close contact with the Binance team, and hopefully, although there's no promise, I don't want like people to say, monitoring tag definitely should be removed. That should come from Binance. But I'm very confident in the next like 2 or 3 months or so that monitoring tag would be removed because Binance is doing technical work to implement exchange addresses to comply with all the regulations and all of that. And only then they will remove the monitoring tag. So I'm personally, some people may see it as an opportunity knowing
Yes.
this, that we are not getting delisted. But there was a lot of people who were worried, oh, monitoring that you guys are going to get delisted. But I don't think that's the case there. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Got it. Got it. That's thanks, Reuben. That is awesome. There is a question that many of us ask ourselves. By the way, I see that question in the comment. So my next question is about Is there any way to generate passive income in Firo?
Mm-hmm. Um, so I guess the answer is yes, but obviously, when everyone says it's passive, it's not like 100% passive, right? Like you still have to do something, right? So
Yes.
obviously, you can contribute to Firo's security by running a master node, which you need like 1,000 Firo. You need a VPS. You connect it and set it up and all of that, and you earn like maybe 15 to 16% per annum, right? Of course, this is not guaranteed; it fluctuates. If there are more people doing it, then the rate drops. If there are less people doing it, then the rate increases. Kind of like mining, right? Like more people mine, less rewards for everyone else, right? So that is one way to do it, right? There are actually many other ways to, of course, like in the masternode sense, is passive in the sense that, well, yeah, once you set it up, you just relax, but you still have to, if you're hosting it yourself, you still have to keep it updated. If you're hosting it with a provider, then, well, you also need to make sure that the provider is keeping it up and doing things like that. So yeah, I would say passive in that sense. There are other ways. I mean, you can also mine Firo using your GPU. That may be semi-passive, although you're actively mining, right? And you can also so there's one thing that's also really interesting, that Binance actually issues something called BEP20 Firo, which is Binance Pack Firo. So if you go into Binance, you see that you can withdraw either from the Firo native network or the Binance Smart Chain network. And obviously, the Binance Smart Chain network doesn't have any privacy, but it has all this DeFi stuff. So you can actually add your liquidity into Pancake Swap or something like that on BSC, right? You can pay out with BNB or USDT and whatnot. And when people trade, between your pools, you can actually earn passive income. Obviously, you need a little bit of smarts to do this. It's semi-passive. You still have to monitor it. But you can even have 150 to 200% per annum returns if you are smart about doing it. But you can also potentially lose money as well if you don't manage it as well. So these are smart ways, I guess, to earn passive income in Firo. But hey, like we also have a bounty system. Like if you find something else, I guess that's not passive. But yeah, I mean all these ways to earn Firo that are relatively easy. Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's great. You heard it, guys. If you want more detail about this, guys, go to the official website. So that interesting information. Thank you so much, Reuben. Um, all right. So let's move on to our second session, the community question. Right.
Yep.
There were a lot of really good questions. It was hard to pick 5 questions. So yes, 100 questions.
Wow.
Yes. Um. All right. So our first winner is Days Crypto. Partner play a major role in the project. So do you have any partner?
Hmm. I mean, especially with centralized projects, like, oh, they kind of control everything. They are the issuer and all of this. Obviously, they are the ones that can make a lot of partnerships, right? Because they are in control of the project, right? I guess for us, we are a core team, right? Like who does Bitcoin partner with, right? I mean, it's like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
who decides, right? So I guess we are much more decentralized in that case. We of course have what we say important ecosystem partners. I would say, like, I would call them ecosystem partners, right? Where they work closely with the project, with the team and stuff like that, but they're not like, partners in the traditional business sense. So, obviously people like Binance are kind of like a partner, right? Travala, which, enables, like, for you to travel around the world and book hotel rooms using Firo, is also a partner. We also have, like, really good like audit companies like Hashcloud, Arcadia, and all of this that actually help CipherStack as well, which help us with the cryptography, build wallets for us to use, like Stack Wallet, which is the most used Firo mobile wallet. That was also built by our partner. And yeah, obviously we have the mining pools and all of that. So I would say there's no like partner in a sense. There's a lot of friends, right? And people that we work together with on an informal basis. Because we even work together with Monero's research team, to collaborate. And that, are we a partner then, or what does that mean, right? So I would caution to say that yes, we have partnerships, but yeah, it's a decentralized project. We work together with many ecosystem partners and in various areas. Like we have a monthly privacy roundtable with Pivex, Particle, and Basic Swap as well. So yeah, that can also be a partnership in many cases, and we collaborate with our communities, with negotiating with exchanges, with also research and development and all of that. So yeah, I think that's a very long-winded answer to a seemingly simple
Good point.
question,
Good
but
point.
yeah.
Yes, that's a good point. All right, thank you, Ruben. We have uh, 2,000 views right now.
Nice.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for your support, for your likes, comment, guys. All right, the second winner is Mikai. The ambassadors are usually a fundamental part of the marketing and the projects. Is there any open program or any other similar role?
There definitely is. I would say that um we a lot, like for example our current community manager Batuhan, and we have a very strong, I would say, Turkish community, and that's like totally kind of being championed by like ambassadors, right? And we even used to have a community in Iran. Obviously now it's a bit more tricky. But yeah, and we have also have a very strong community in Indonesia as well. I would say we are always welcome. We also have an Arab community that recently started, and a very strong Russian community again, which is run by volunteers. Now,
Yes.
obviously, these people are like, oh, is there any program for remuneration and stuff like that? I would say it's kind of done on the case by case basis. If it's like, if this is going to be your full-time thing and you can show that you deliver results, obviously you're going to get paid, right? Because it's a full-time job. If you're doing it part-time, you need some like with the Binance Angel program, right? You don't really get paid unless you like do something for Binance, right? Like, so if you're organizing an event, or you're doing something, you're doing community managing, or you grabbing people in, then yes, obviously, they would be funds available from the core team or from the community fund committee as well, or even you can just raise funds for it. I would just caution to say that if all you're in is like, I'm looking for a job, tell me, can you make me a moderator inside Firo? Would probably not accept, because, or the community wouldn't like that, because you're outsider and like, yeah, I want to manage a community. No, we are looking for people who really genuinely like believe in what we're doing. And then the money is one part of it, but it shouldn't be your primary aim. So yes, there is ambassador program, but make sure that you care about our project first, rather than it just being like, it's a part-time job at McDonald's. No, it's not. So yeah.
I understand you. That's right. Right, right, right. So the following question is interesting. All the question interesting, but I like this question. All right. What is the difference between the Lantus and Lantus Park? Please explain how it works by Chris Master NFT.
Nice, great question. So Firo has gone through, I would say, like several privacy protocols. Actually, Firo's old name was called Zcoin because we used the zero coin protocol, which is different than the zero cash protocol, right? So when we launched in 2016, we used the zero coin protocol. We moved to something called Sigma. Then we moved to Lelantus and now Lelantus Spark. So this is the fourth iteration of our privacy protocol, which kind of shows like how much we value innovative development and research. And a lot of these were like developed from scratch. There was no existing implementation for it. Actually, yeah, all of it were independent implementations. There was no existing implementation for it, right? So Lelantus was our last privacy protocol, and it allowed people to burn coins and then redeem them for brand new coins with no previous transaction history, right? So that means like, let's say I have 1,000 coins, right? I burn 1,000 coins and it kind of disappears, but I know that it still exists. And when I want to see it again, I produce this kind of special ZKP receipt and post it on chain, and you allow me to redeem this part of the 1,000 coins or the full 1,000 coins. But when I redeem it, the rest of the chain does not see, oh, where did this, like, let's say if I redeem 50 coins from this 1,000, the rest of the chain does not see, oh, where does this 50 coins from? Does it come from that 1,000 or someone else? Anyone, this could have come from anyone that had burned coins or a combination of like 111s, 10, right? So it allows you to burn coins and redeem any arbitrary amount from it. That is Lelantus, right? Which was pretty good. It was a really important piece of developing a privacy protocol. But obviously, when you are redeeming a coin to address, you are revealing the amount, right? So obviously, while the sender is hidden, because you're like, well, I don't know where these funds came from, which is pretty good privacy, much better than a lot of other, than even what Bitcoin has, obviously. You're still kind of revealing the amount, right? So that means maybe I look at this amount and like, this $500-ish worth every month. Maybe this is a payment or something. So there's still some data being revealed. But with Lelantus Spark, the amounts are also hidden as well. So, when we talk about burning and redeeming, so in this case, when you burn the coins, I don't even need to redeem it. I can pass the coins, like the receipt. Remember when I burn the coins, I get like some sort of receipt, right? I can pass that receipt to someone else, and the rest of the chain doesn't even know, well, how much has been transacted. You can stay completely hidden, right? And only if I, let's say, want to send my funds to Binance and whatnot, then okay, I produce that receipt, I make it appear again, and then deposit it into Binance. So that means the amounts are also hidden there. The also very important thing about Lelantus Spark is the introduction of something called Spark addresses. And you know how in like Ethereum or Bitcoin, I give you an address to pay to, or I send something from, you can take that address, put it into a blockchain explorer, and then suddenly you see all this history, right? With Ethereum, you see, oh, this person done with Uniswap, bought some like doggy coins or whatnot, right? So, and similarly with Bitcoin, you see this, you can see all the transaction history for that particular address. With a Spark address, it's almost like an email address. I can give it to you, but you cannot look it up. You put it into the blockchain explorer, the blockchain explorer is like, what's this, right? So when you give it out, when people send to it, when you send from it, no one actually can see. So it's almost like an email address where people can send to it, but no one else can see when you receive mail or when you send out mail, right? So that's a really big innovation there, which is really important for privacy, because you want to be able to publish your address anywhere, right, without compromising privacy. And I think this is a really important thing that people underestimate, because if we expect crypto to have mainstream adoption, I think it's really, really risky to be saying like, okay, I pay for a coffee, and then next thing this person's, oh my God, this guy's a millionaire, I maybe should kidnap him, right? So I mean, that's not right. When I'm paying for a coffee, you should know nothing else besides that I have paid for my coffee. You should not know how much I earn, where I have deposited, where I get my funds from, and that is the whole thing about privacy. So yeah, that's the difference between Lelantus and Lelantus Spark. We are using Lelantus Spark now, and I hope that's a good explanation. The best that I can do. Yeah.
Thanks, the best explanation. That's very clear. I hope Chris Master NFT has cleared your doubts. All right. So, all right. So the first question of the community of for winner is Janin. No, sorry, is Sada Bitcoin. What are the master nodes in Firo, and what are they used for?
This is a great question. So masternodes in Firo, remember when we talked about the passive income, you can host a masternode and then you earn certain rewards from hosting this masternode. But there is a very important role that masternodes play in our network, right? Because obviously in the pure proof of work type of blockchain, right? And first of all, I love proof of work because you can get coins in a very fair way. You don't have to have some centralized person that says, I airdrop it to you. Oh, you're my ecosystem partner. Oh, you're some VC. I'm giving you 10% of my supply, right? That's very centralized, right? Proof of work is kind of fair. You put in work and then you get back the coins, right? And I think especially for a privacy coin or something that's trying to be money, it is important to have this kind of decentralized way to distribute your supply, right? So there's no like allocation to special people, right? But the bad thing obviously is that 51% attacks do happen, right? And on top of that, how you always have to say, oh, I have to wait like X number of confirmations, right? And it's kind of I would say, not a good user experience. Just imagine it's like, it's been confirmed one. Is it safe? Or like some coins, one confirmation is safe. Some coins, 10 confirmations are safe, right? And because the ability for proof of work, you can reorganize and all of that. And that's really kind of crappy. Just imagine you're doing a face-to-face transaction and then you have to wait for, like, if you're using Bitcoin, you're like, if on-chain Bitcoin, I'm like waiting for 10 minutes or more, right? That's a horrible user experience. Masternodes, on the other hand, allow you that once you make the transaction, the masternodes are actually, like right now we have around 4,000 masternodes. They look at the chain, or they look at the mempool. Basically, mempool is like where transactions kind of are floating, waiting to be processed, right? And once enough of the masternodes see this particular transaction, they will each of them sign to say, I saw this transaction first, and therefore I am locking it in. That means even before the transaction has gone into the blockchain, for within a few seconds that this transaction, you will not have a double span of it. There will not be a conflicting transaction. So I guess for those of you, a Bitcoin is called like zero confirmation type of transactions, right? But here there's actually security because the masternodes have signed it and would not allow any sort of conflicting transaction. So that's very important. It means you get transaction finality within a couple of seconds. What's also important is that within a few seconds from a block being confirmed on chain, that block also becomes permanent. It gets locked by the masternodes. And even if you produce a longer chain, because you already produced that chain, you've already seen it, you locked it down, there will be no reorganization as well. That means that's why you can see Binance accepts one confirmation transactions from Firo because of this technology, which is also really important, right? Why should I wait for X amount of confirmations where the security can go up and down, right? And that means that if you want to attack Firo, you not only have to have a lot of coins, you also have to get enough hash rate and sustain that hash rate. So you both have to have hash rate and coins. So it's like a hybrid mechanism that allows the beauty of proof of work and fair distribution, decentralized type of things, while also having very, very good user experience in making sure that your transactions are final within a couple of seconds, and that you're not going to be worrying about, suddenly my transaction has been reorganized and it's been replaced by something else. So I think this is a great hybrid system that kind of manages both the pros and cons of proof of work and of stake type of systems. And master nodes are a very key component of that. So yes, I hope that explains that.
Nice, nice, nice. Wow, that is really good explanation. Wow, that is amazing. That technology, Ruben. That's awesome. Thank you, guys. All right, uh, Ruben. Finally, the last question of this section is interesting. This question is by Janine. Congratulations, Janine. Okay. What can we expect from Firo this year and next?
Right. So we have been really focusing because we launched the Lanta Spark, a new privacy protocol in January of this year. And obviously, we have been it's working very smoothly, but we're trying to make sure like the user experience is the best, optimizing, letting out all the bugs, right? So I guess the first half of this year has been spent just ironing out all those bugs, right? The next thing that we are actually developing that is actually really exciting is what we call Spark Assets or SPATs, right? And what that actually means is that on top of just being a coin, you can create, like in Ethereum, any sort of token on top of Firo as well. And people say, oh, wait, well, why would you want to do that? Why don't I just make it in Ethereum, right? But the thing is that with Spark Assets, all these coins or tokens that you're creating share the same privacy guarantees as Firo itself. And this is really nice in the sense that, okay, I want to make a privacy dot coin. Yeah, I can do that on Firo. I make Shiba with a on it, right? I can make like a stable coin. It becomes automatically a private stable coin, right? And there's a lot of opportunities there. And what's really beautiful about Spark Assets is that, remember when I talked about how Lolanta Spark hides sender, receiver, and amount? With Spark Assets, even the asset type is hidden. So that means when you do a transaction on chain, it just looks like any other transaction. You don't even know what asset is being transacted, which is really, really cool. That means like even if like your coin, very few people, maybe 10 people use it only, right? But because you're sharing in that anonymity set that Firo and all these other assets are doing, it all looks the same on chain. You are getting better privacy. All these assets contributes to Firo's privacy, and Firo privacy contributes to all of these assets privacy. So you don't even know whether a stable coin is being transacted, a dot coin is being transacted, or even whether Firo is being transacted. And I think that kind of really unlocks so much utility for Firo. And there's also this idea of that, people can bridge assets from other chains into Firo so that we become like this privacy app chain, privacy ecosystem for other coins, which obviously, like, you try to do privacy in Ethereum, it's going to cost a freaking bomb, right? Like,
Yeah,
pay
yes.
20, 30, $50 on chain and still kind of get like, not really good privacy. So I'm really excited about building Spark Assets. We have to write up all there. We know how to do this. We actually have developed the library to do this already. So it's a matter of integration. And we also have a halving this year in September. There is an ongoing community discussion on what should happen there, which you can join in our forum. So lots of exciting things from Firo. And I mean, it goes those of you from on the short-term basis, hopefully you can expect the
Mhm.
monitoring tag to be removed sometime in the next couple of months as well. Yeah.
You heard it, guys. Stay tuned to Fire's social network for more interesting things to come. So stay tuned, guys. What is the Twitter username of Fire?
I think it's Firo.org. So if you go to, yeah, we still call it Twitter, right? No one calls it X.com.
All right,
Let-
all right, all right,
Firo org. Yeah, that's right.
all right. Okay. Ruben, that was the last question from our community. But before we go, I have one last question for you. And Alliance X, we want to motivate and inspire people to be an entrepreneurial. So, in terms of your experience, so what advice would you give to those people who want to become entrepreneurs in the Web3 ecosystem?
Right. um I mean, this is kind of cliche, but I've seen this as a common, a common mistake that many people do. They're like, "Oh, I want to get into Web3 because everyone's getting really rich, right?" And I understand that, right? I mean, obviously, all of us would like to be well off and have a comfortable life, and I get that, right? But because of if you have that sort of motivation, you're gonna be looking for short term gains, right? But but if you truly believe in like the importance of Web3 and not just to protect your bags, right? To kind of realize the importance of what you're trying to build here, right? And really dive into it. I think focus on learning more than anything. Like Binance Academy has really great stuff. And like, I
Right.
come from a non-cryptographic background, right? I come from, I don't really have a maths background. I'm a lawyer, right? But because there's so much resources online, I volunteered my time to various other projects before even joining Firo. Like I did some work with Dash, did all these other things. And it's almost like building a family of like-minded people, which is kind of how when I first joined cryptocurrency in 2008, that's how it felt. All of us were like this one
Yeah.
big global family of people doing things, and we were excited about what we were doing, right? Now, everyone's like, oh, what's the next, uh, what's the next dog with hat that I'm going to get rich with? And if you focus on that, you're just going to be like among the millions of other people who think like that, right? But you're thinking about what is the problem that I'm going to try to solve here. And even if you're not a developer, when I talk about the problem that is going to be solved, it's not like necessarily, oh, I'm going to solve the blockchain trilemma and solve scaling for Ethereum. No, no. I mean, like, yeah, if you can do that, obviously go do that. But even on a lower basis, right? Like you're looking at the community, maybe you see a really promising project and you're like, wow, they're kind of lacking in the marketing department, they're kind of lacking in the community department. Just offer your time, be part of that, and don't think about, oh, what is my money that I'm trying to get from it. Take it as a learning experience, and later on, you can do this part-time, right? I mean, you can do this on the side with your real job. You will learn through this experience, through volunteering. And then once you're ready to go full blown on into the Web3, you would have a really good understanding of the that particular Web3 job that you're looking at, right? Because like, how to say, it's like in a hotel, if you want to become the GM, you have to start being the waiter, you have to start doing this and whatnot. And I feel that a lot of times it's good to kind of feel how all these different roles play in. You may be a developer, you may be a community manager, you may be an auditor, you may be a marketer or influencer. Yeah, start somewhere. Do it at your own thing, but do it with the passion, because people can tell whether you like it or you're just doing it for the money. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I hope that's so good advice. Yeah.
Inspiring. Thank you. Thank you. I know that your advice will be of help to the people who are listening to us. Uh, Thank you, Ruben. I had a great time from Alliance X. We wish you and all your team a lot of success, bro.
Thank you so much, Jean Pierre, and it's a real pleasure. I mean, also thank you for the community. I really like the questions. They are much pretty
Yes.
high quality than what we're normally used to. So, really happy with that. And yeah, please, if you would like, please join our community on Telegram, Discord, and whatnot. We're a welcoming bunch. You want to have questions, you want to help out, I would welcome you with open arms, and so would the rest of our Firo fam as well. Yeah.
Thanks, bro. Thanks, bro. Bye. Bye, Reuben. See you next time. Bye.